Devarim. These are the words Moshe spoke to all Israel on the far side of the Yarden River, in the desert, in the Arava across from Suf, between Paran and Tophel, Lavan, Hazarot, and Di Zahav. Deuteronomy 1 verse 1. Devarim means words. It's the Hebrew name of the fifth book of the Torah. This book is mostly Moshe's recounting of the Torah, the repetition. That's where its Greek name, Deuteronomy, comes from. Deuteronomy means repetition. Deuteronomy is basically a pep talk from Moshe to the people of Israel. In the pep talk, Moshe recounts the story of the 10 spies, the mistake that the people of Israel made that caused them to be exiled for 40 years in the desert. The sages interpret Moshe's recounting as a rebuke, but not a selfish one. Moshe didn't rebuke the people because he hated them and wanted to point out their worst mistake yet. He rebuked them because he cared about them. Moshe is the one who put his life on the line multiple times just to save the people of Israel. First from the Egyptians, second from God, and third from themselves. In Proverbs 27 verse 6 it says, "Wounds from a friend are received as well meant, but an enemy's kisses are insincere." Moshe cared about the people of Israel just as a parent cares for their children. Some people within Christianity believe that when John the Immerser and the Messiah rebuked the Jews, and more so the Pharisees, it was out of hatred. It wasn't out of hatred, though. John the Immerser and the Messiah were both Jews. Both of them believed in Judaism. The reason why they were so harsh is because they were taking after Moshe and were showing the Jews their mistakes so that they could see them, correct them, and learn from them. You are not to show favoritism when judging, but give equal attention to the small and to the great, no matter how a person presents himself. Don't be afraid of him, because the decision is God's. Deuteronomy 1 verse 17a. Moshe told the people of Israel, "Fear no man." This means not to show favoritism to the people because of their power. The Torah believes in justice for all. Everyone gets the same punishment regardless of situation. The Torah doesn't believe that the oppressed should get a lesser judgment and the empowered should get a stricter one. James, the brother of Yeshua, thought this too. But if you show favoritism, your actions constitute sin, since you are convicted under the Torah as transgressors. James 2 verse 9. Yeshua was impartial too. He would converse with sages and great officials, and then he would converse with the lame and the poor. He received each individual equally. In Matthew 22, verse 16, it states, "They sent him some of their Talmudim and some members of Herod's party. They said, 'Rabbi, we know that you tell the truth and really teach what God's way is. You aren't concerned with what other people think about you, since you pay no attention to a person's status.'" Yeshua didn't fear man either, as is evident in the fact that he drove the merchants from the temple court, unfearful of any punishments he could have received. As he says in Matthew 10, verse 28, "Do not fear those who kill the body but are powerless to kill the soul. Rather fear him who can destroy both soul and body in Gehenna." A common belief in Christianity is that the New Testament crossed out the Tanakh. This simply isn't true. The New Testament isn't even new. This is a spiritual revelation of the written Torah of Moshe. The Torah can be likened to the physical body, and the New Testament can be likened to the soul. Both of them are needed. When Yeshua taught his Talmudim disciples, he taught them from the Torah. All of his teachings were quotes from the Torah, insights on the Torah, and explanations of the Torah. He said to them, "So then, every Torah teacher who has been made into a Talmud for the kingdom of heaven is like the owner of a home who brings out his storage room, both new things and old." Matthew 13, verse 52. The beginning of this parasha starts with, "These are the words Moshe spoke," as if it were the beginning of a great declaration, like the beginning of an epic saga. The Lubavitcher Rebbe said that these words imply that every time you study Torah, it should be new and exciting. No matter how many times you've been through the text, there's always something new to learn. Rashi says, turn it over again, for everything is within it. Look into it and become gray-haired and old in it. If the Torah is really from God, the God who knows the past and the future, then the Torah should be relevant at all times, no matter the circumstance. Deuteronomy is Moshe's pep talk, in which he rebukes the people of Israel, but not out of hatred, out of care. Yeshua and John did the same thing with the people of Israel in their day. Showing favoritism is wrong. Moshe believed it, Yeshua believed it, and God believed it. The New Testament does not cross out the Old. Although Yeshua didn't explicitly state it, he taught from the Torah. The Torah is always relevant, no matter our circumstance.